stories, but the second part is stories that matter. Why should things matter to us? Okay, so when we talk about what things matter to us, we talk about how relevant is it? Is it timely for us? Does it fit the particular situation in which I am in? So when you talk about stories that matter, now we have stories like the picture you see is the Ramayana scene in Delhi, for instance, when they have the Diwali celebrations, they have this. So we have stories from Ramayana. Now, most of us think that Ramayana stories for the elders, right? Then we have stories from the Mahabharata. There is a famous story about uh, the Bhagavad Gita, and this particular scene is Krishna is getting angry and is going there to hit Bhishma, for instance. You know, these are stories which have been told to us over years, number of years, through the ages and so on and so forth. But I suspect many of the people now think that these stories don't matter to us anymore because it doesn't seem to be relevant. It is not timely. It doesn't fit my current situation. So the subject that you have given me is a very thought-provoking one, and I had some tough time putting this together. Let's see whether I have succeeded or not. Only you, the judges, to tell me. Okay. Now, for instance, there are a lot of stories about Lord Vigneshwara, so, the elephant god. Now, he's the person who people pray to before they start anything, so that whatever they start may go through without the hitches. So, being a man of habit, and at 74, I'm starting with my prayer to him, saying, "I hope my talk to these professional speakers goes through reasonably well." The first story I want to talk to you about is a story from my father's time. Now, my father used to work for an organization in Bombay, and what you see here is a Rolleiflex camera. There is also a Rolleiflex camera, which looks exactly like this. My father was in charge of the repair and services department for cameras, which were extremely expensive. And there was one Maharaja who had bought this Rolleiflex camera, and every picture he shot had a black spot in this picture. And he was very frustrated, and he complained to the company, saying that the camera is defective. And they said to my father that you go and fix it. So he had to travel to the Maharaja's palace and find out what was happening. Now, what was happening was the Maharaja had his index finger or one of the lenses at the bottom when he shot the picture. He didn't realize it. As a result, every picture had a black spot. Now, the story is not about that. The story is about how my father fixed the problem. So he saw that this is what the Maharaja was doing. And instead of telling him that you're holding your finger this way, he said, "Can I take some pictures with this camera?" Right? And then when he was shooting the camera, he told the Maharaja, "Can you just observe how I'm holding it?" Right? So the Maharaja observed. And then finally, when he got the message, he shot the pictures, he got it right. So before my father left the palace, the Maharaja said, "I thought you were a specialist in managing cameras and repairing them. I now see that you're a diplomat as well." Now that's the story. He could have easily pointed out the error or the fault, but he just showed him how to do it right rather than pointing out what is wrong. Now that is the story here. Okay. There is another story is about, again, with my father. He was working at an organization. There was a particular meeting. The managing director was, you know, taking everybody to task because the numbers were not met. So my father's turn came, and then the managing director was pointing the finger at my father and finding out a lot of faults with him. Now, after a while, my father said, after the managing director finished, my father said, "I just have one small request, sir." So the MD said, "Yeah, what?" So he said, "If all that I'm doing is wrong, I assume there must be some things that I'm doing right. That is why you're still holding me in the job, right? I would be very grateful if you can also point out what I'm doing right so that I'll continue to do them regularly and consistently." Now, the entire crowd was completely shocked, but at the same time, the manner in which he spoke about this and then asking for information about what he was doing right was very nice, diplomatic. At the same time, required a lot of guts. I think it's a very powerful story. Now, this is a story that matters when we handle, let's say, appraisals, when we handle people telling us what we are doing, not doing right, etc. The way in which you respond is more important than the way in which you react. Okay, so that's the reason one. That's the story. This is a story that matters because it tells us what we can do right when we are under pressure. Here is another story. This is a building, this is the Bombay University building, and I'm a student of the Bombay University. I did my BSc Physics and Mathematics from 1969. I don't know how many of you might have been born even at that time. Uh, the thing that happened was that I had done very badly in my final exams. I've been a first class student right too, but on that particular exam, thing didn't go right for me. So the day my exams were over, I came back home. My father came back from work, and over dinner he said, "How did it go?" And I said, "Bad." He said, "How bad is bad?" I said, "So bad that I'll either get a third class or I'll fail." So there was complete silence over dinner. And next day morning, as he was leaving, he said, "So what do you want to do? Do you want to go to work or do you want to study further?" I said, "I want to go to work." So he said, "Start applying for a job today, from today." I said, then I asked him, saying, who will give me a job? My results are not out. So my father said, "That's the point. The day the results are out, you're either a third class BSc or a failed BSc. Nobody will. So beat the results." Now we had close to about 45 days before the results were out. So he said, "Start applying for jobs from today onwards." So Times of India started applying for management trainee jobs, etc. And then sooner I landed with the management consultant. He gave me a job. And then I was there with him and I used to assist him on many things. Part of it was, when he interviewed people, I had to observe the people and then tell him what happened. And the day the results were out, I went back to the office. So my boss asked me, "The results are out?" So I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "What did you get?" And I said, "I got a third class." So he didn't say anything. He took me out for lunch. And then during the lunch, he said, "Listen, I just want you to understand something. In my mind, I have no confusion between a third class person and the person who's got a third class in his exam and a third rate person. My suggestion is you don't have that confusion either." He said, "Third class just happens. You're a first class person, a first rate person, stay that way." Now, that's a fantastic lesson I got from that time, right? Now, this is another interesting thing. Now, in the old days, long before all the digital stuff came, when you apply for a job, you have to get a reply. And there was these old things that apply, no reply kind of stuff used to happen. And I was so desperate in getting a job that I used to go and wait in the post office, in Sion post office, before the post office opened. And I made friends with the post person who was to come to my this thing. And then the postmaster one called me and he said, "What are you doing this? Why can't you wait till the person comes?" I said, "Listen, the tension is too much. That's why I'm coming here." The point I'm making out here is that there are times when we do things and results not happening as we want them to happen at that particular time. We have to manage and understand the art of waiting patiently. How to wait productively is a very important tool. At this particular age, now I understand how to wait productively. I think one of the best way to wait productively is to read a book, listen to music, right? If you're on the move, a book is a great company. So waiting is an essential part of living, and we need to understand how to master that. Here is another interesting story. I mean, this story pertains to our daughter. Now, this is completely fresh in my mind. And when she was a small baby, my mother was trying to feed her, and she wouldn't open her mouth. Okay, and then my mother took her to the window, and then started showing her various things. And then she showed her a crow and said, "What is that?" And we are Tamil speaking people. Crow in Tamil is kaka. So she said, "What is that?" My daughter opened her mouth and said, "Kaka." She opened her mouth and my mother put the foot there. Right? Now, this is about thinking on your feet. All right? You need to figure out simple devices to open opportunities for us. Don't wait for the big moment and the big opportunity. One small opportunity can lead to a series of small opportunities leading to big opportunities. So this is the story, which is my favorite, Kaka. Okay. The other thing is another story. I mean, this was again pertaining to my daughter. She's taught us so many lessons. Now, when she was a small child, she had to travel to a school which is about 10 kilometers away from home. She had to travel in the bus. She used to be travel sick when she was a child, and then she would throw up anything that she had if she had to go on a trip. So she would never have anything in the morning when she left for the school. We tried all sorts of medicines, allopathic, homeopathic, nothing worked. And my mother used frustrated with us because we were not finding a solution. One day I was in a meeting in my office. My secretary came and said, "Your wife is on the line." And I said, "Tell her I'm in a meeting." So my secretary said, "No, it seems like it's a very important thing. Therefore, can you please attend to it?" So I went and picked up the phone. My wife said that Pavitra fixed the problem. I said, "What problem?" And she said, "The milk problem." I said, "Yeah, how did she fix the milk problem?" So apparently my daughter, she took milk in the water bottle, got down in the school, drank the milk, washed the water bottle, and filled the water bottle with aquaguard water in the filtered water in the school. Now, the thing is that we were thinking that the solution is at home. She had no such mental block. She only wanted to fix the issue on how to drink milk in the morning before she started school. We thought she had to drink milk before she left for school. See the way the problem was reframed. Okay, now that's the magic there. Here's another interesting thing. So one of the things that we had done, I was leading the business for Ogilvy advertising in Bangalore, and we had to sell ZX Spectrum computers for one of our clients, the computer point, and they had their sales was very low, and the client was very frustrated. And he said, "Can you do something?" So what we did was I put some of our people to go and meet all the people who had bought the ZX Spectrum home computers. Very interesting thing happened. In all well-to-do households, the ZX Spectrum was kept inside a Godrej cupboard locker inside. So when we said, "Can you show that?" they used to go open the cupboard, open the locker, take that in the box in which the Spectrum had come, and then showed it to us. Then we went on to some middle-class households. The Spectrum was outside, connected to a television, and then connected to an audio cassette player where the software is, etc. And this was sharp contrast. Then figured out, we asked these middle-class household people, "Why are you buying this, such an expensive thing?" They said, "Look, education is the only asset we can give our child. This is our investment in it." So as a result, we actually changed the process of the showroom. We had kids during summer vacation who owned a Spectrum to do demonstration for parents and children who came to buy the Spectrum. And the sales more than tripled. So here was the insight, saying, what was the opportunity, right? And what is the statement that was coming through in this entire thing? Okay? So what mattered was understanding the insight of the user. Okay, so this was one story that mattered. The other thing was where we are doing some work for blood donation in Bangalore, and their biggest worry was that there are a lot of people who are coming to donate blood for getting money. They didn't want paid donors because there was no way they would know what is the health of these people. Right? So we had a campaign saying, you don't have to be a doctor to save somebody's life. It appealed to the right people, and then they came for the blood donation campaign, and that turned out to be the right kind of people who are healthy and who are good in good shape, and they donated blood, and that became a very good success. The point I'm making here is that the messages must strike a chord in the mind of the receiver. If that message matters, they will act. These are stories that matter. Now look at this picture. What could be a story that can matter? the reason why I'm showing this is that all our stories generally has a composition or a combination of fact and fiction, right? There is an element of imagination in this. So where do we get our triggers for imagination? We get it from the sense of sight. So if you see this, it remind you as to school days in your younger age, where you went out to have a sugarcane juice somewhere, and sometimes you might have had it with your friends, or sometimes you would have had it with your parents. When it's tucked along and we see it, and you can even write a poem on that. Okay, look at this. Can somebody suggest a line for this? If somebody can speak. Hello.
Yes, sir. They are all thinking.
Yeah.
Everyone is thinking about
Hands
the
are
line.
hands are tied.
Yeah. So what? Yeah. That's right. This is the obvious thing, but I want a headline, powerful line.
Break free.
Just say something. Don't worry about whether it's right or wrong.
Break free. Break. Break free.
Okay.
Break
Under
free.
arrest. Under arrest.
Okay.
Shackled but not shaken.
Yeah. Okay. See, the thing is that all of these answers are different, right? There's no predictable answer coming through. Is that a fair point?
Sorry,
Yeah.
sir.
I'm saying when we see this picture, this acts as a trigger for each of us, and for each response will be different from each other because we are a collection of our education experience and points of view. So that's the beauty, and this picture can become a trigger for creating a story that matters. That's the point I'm making. So using the five senses to you as triggers for generating stories is a very useful thing to do. Look at this picture, for instance. Did he lose his school bag? Is this because he's hungry? Is this because he's waiting for parents to come? It could be anything, right? Such a powerful thing. Look at this. Who is this guy? Why is he looking like this? Why are his pupils looking at this? Is he wearing lenses? Is he a doctor about to operate somebody? Or is he a thief who's going to, rob someplace? A story can emerge from this. Okay. Look at this. Somebody's done this help on sand, right? Seeking help. This can become a fantastic stimulus for a story. If you give it to children and say, I want one paragraph written in the next 5 minutes, you'll get some amazing stuff. Can you look at the detail in the letter H, the second half? There is some small piece there. Is it a small piece of cigarette, or it could be a nail? There is some. If Sherlock Holmes would say that there is an evidence somebody has left behind there. That could be a powerful stuff, right? Look at this. Those of us who've been in Bombay will know about the dabbawalas. There is even a movie using dabbawalas on this. I mean, every dabba not only had food, but a whole lot of letters from home to the husband complaining about the mother-in-law. Can you imagine? Fantastic stuff, right? What happens to dabbas that were half full? The home, very often the dabba that reaches home is empty, but somebody must have eaten it in between. There was one place near Lalbagh where all the dabbawalas used to take out the rest of the food and redistribute it to the beggars there. Right? What a lovely idea, right? Story, right? Stories that matter in terms of generosity. Okay? Look at this picture. Look at what is the machinery he's carrying. It's the cement mixing machine, right? So he's moving to some construction site, right? It could be Rajasthan. So then look at the camel, the way it is decorated. And look at his expression. To me, it looks like the camel is singing a song. Yeah. Again, this is footprints on the sands of time kind of stuff, right? This one, if those of us who have traveled in villages in any part of India would have seen this. I always like this kind of pictures. I love the way the buffaloes are enjoying the water. Look at all this. There is this guy right at this place here. Look at this chap. Look at this guy, right? There's one fellow who is already submerged here. Look at this here. So there is a lot of things that can happen from the sense of sight. Look at this picture. All four tires have been robbed from a car. Where could this have happened? Why couldn't it happen? What will happen to this guy now? Or is it in a garage for repairs, right? Or is it in the middle of a road? So very interesting picture. So sense of sight. Now look at this. Four policemen playing carrom. And one of them has got a camera in his hand. Okay. The other guy is reading his mobile. So what is the story here? Why is the guy there wearing so many badges on his shirt? Right? All this can actually trigger very interesting points in terms of writing a story. And look at this. It's a beach somewhere. Must be a holiday resort. Everything that is junk there could be telling a story. Now, this one looks like an accident. Or was he hit by a stone when he was riding a scooter? Right? The person who is holding the ice pack on his head, do you think is the hand of a man or the hand of a woman? My guess is it's the hand of a man. But this man is wearing his wristwatch on his right hand. Okay? Unlike most of us who wear it on the left hand. Why is that? So this is classic Sherlock Holmes kind of stuff, right? So there is a fantastic story that's possible there. Pav Bhaji, right? And then it's very close to an international infotech park, right? Can you imagine how many employees would be there and what would be the kind of roaring businesses Pav Bhaji must be doing? Chances are he must be working in midnight also because all these IT companies go 3 shifts, right? This guy must have become a millionaire. Now, see the way the imagination is flowing now, right? Just one picture, which is a trigger. This picture, okay? You can think in terms of what is possible, right? What is the scene? Why is this? Who is being brought in or brought out? What is this lady doing next to him, right? This is a fantastic picture, an argument between two people, okay? Both ladies, right? We don't know what is it a game they were playing over which there is a fight, or is it in a government office, right? Both of them is trying to say to each other who is arguing, who is pacifying the other person. And there are men standing there watching, like silent spectators. This one, again, somebody who's stranded. Great one. Look at this. This is a place which seems like it was devastated by floods there. Look at all the things that are lying around on the ground. And the way the stop sign has sort of crashed and so on. There's a fire which is being doused. A fantastic sports picture. Okay. Do you think she made it or she didn't make it? Look at her expression. Look, is she looking anxious or is she looking that, wow, I made it, right? What is the sense? This is another one. Okay. Look at this expression. It's one of winning, right? This again, rescue from floods. This is a fantastic storytelling picture. Please help us. And then below it says, people, dog, and cat. Right? I think it's a very interesting thing because people who see it from the sky, if it's only please help us, that is one kind of response that can happen. If he says people, dog, and cat, then there is something more about the people who are there inside. If I'm a dog lover, chances are I will respond, right? So fantastic way to motivate people. That's a thing we've seen. This is Mughal Azam. The hoarding painters in Bombay, they are a major source of art in Bombay. Look at the way this is hand drawn. There is Dilip Kumar in one, and the other one is Prithviraj Kapoor. And see the way this picture is done. Look at this man's expression. What could be the story? If you can think in terms of what kind of person could he be, how many hours a day would he be painting? He must be painting at a. Is this painting being done in a workshop, right? Or would he be a trained painter from some art school, or it is a family uh, 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 tradition or business, right? Now, this is Ganpati in Mumbai, right, doing the Ganesha, so Ganesh Chaturthi, and amazing amount of quantity of Ganesha sold, and everything is piece of art. Look at this, the way the guys. I mean, I can't imagine bending myself like this. But look at this person's face, facial expression. Isn't there a great story there? Look at everybody is watching them, right? Kite flying during rainy season in Mumbai. It's a huge thing. It's also a major threat. The manja is a dangerous thing. There is one incident where the manja cut the throat of one, motorbike rider, and he died on the spot. Okay, classic Kalba Devi scene in Mumbai. Traffic jam, but the place is thriving. Everybody, I mean, if I was when I was in Bombay, if I felt bored, I would go take a bus ride in Kalba Devi, that route. Okay. I think bus number 5 used to go from there or whatever it is. Sit in the second on the top deck and watch what was happening here. The energy of the people is incredible. You can see from many of these places who are carrying this thing. It's a rainy season. The road is wet. People are out there all the time. This one, I think, some major festival in the south. Breaking coconuts. Look at this. Look at the joy and the mirth. Right. This is an amazing picture from a friend of mine called Ajay Sood. He allowed me to put this picture here. What is happening here? Why is this man throwing this glass away? And who is this lady? And what are the ladies sitting there watching? Are they amused by this? Are they very happy that the lady is in trouble? What is it? Okay, next story. Okay, again another picture from Ajay Sood. This is a creche. This is not a normal creche because this one is from Tihar jail. Okay, it is for the children of women prisoners. Okay, what a powerful story there. Is this the right place for children to play? Look at this. I think this is somewhere in Dharavi in Mumbai. Another one where, this is huge amounts of garbage. These are the garbage dumps. And these people every day work in garbage dumps. You can't even imagine what life like will be like in that time. Look at these people. I mean, they are working people. They are workmen in a factory building site, and there's a local shack there, and these people play carom during lunchtime. Okay. So I come to this saying, why stories matter, right? And there's a fantastic visual which I borrowed from the internet. So it's a strong story, has various components. Okay, qualities which are likely to listen, unlikely to listen, so you need to think about it. Uh, can drive public conversation, right? Find the common interest, put yourself in their shoes so that they can listen to you. If I have to tell you my story, I don't know how many of you might find it interesting, but I'm now sharing what I think constitute good story because you're also interested in stories that matter. Okay, so stories. There is a book which I found saying what got me out of my head and into the world is Life in Five Senses. Okay, it's a New York Times best-selling author from a happiness project. Okay, I think one of the best ways to look for stories is to activate your five senses. When you feel stuck, walk into the kitchen, walk into a garden, touch hot water or sip of hot water or coffee or whatever it is. or go and see something which is interesting, or just cover yourself with the blanket and see the coziness of the blanket and see how it feels. Hold a child in your hand and what it feels. So activate the five senses to activate stories. Okay. So that's the short presentation I had. So I'm open to questions and I'm happy to answer them depending on how you feel I'm doing on the time.
Thank you, sir. That was very insightful. Maybe you can close the screen so we can.
You want me to stop sharing?
Yeah, if the presentation is done, then probably we can stop sharing. Then we can go into the conversation.
Yeah.
Probably I will start with few questions.
Yeah.
I would be happy to listen from your life stories. Like probably when you started your career, what kind of struggles and you faced and how you overcome. And also, if I understand correctly, in 1975, and that is when the emergency came in few years down the line,
Yeah.
isn't it? And how your career at that point of time, because today everyone starts and you see a lot of people losing jobs. IT, people go and join, and then within 9 months they lose jobs because of some trouble there. So obviously, in 1979, you just started your career. Probably, I think what 4 years into your
I started my career in 1969.
69. Sorry, yeah. So 10 years. So probably in a kind of a situation where you are setting up your family, and then the emergency happened. So what was the mindset, and how you actually perceived the situation?
Now, the thing is, when I started, I was just out of college. I just finished my final exams. Uh, my father was still working. My brother was married. My sister was married. I was the last, and the last of three children. So my father was there like a complete solid rock behind me. Right. First advice he said, "Listen, don't worry about how much salary you get. You go and find a job, and you get it." Right. And then I landed a job in Crompton Greaves. After that, I worked in Crompton Greaves for 2 years in Pune, and my job was to go and meet dealers who were not paying the bills. Okay, so here is one small story where there was one huge supply of lighting fittings which are supplied to a dealer in Goa, and he would not pay for nearly 7 months. So my manager said, "Go sort it out." I had not gone to Goa, right? I don't speak the language. I told my manager, "I don't know any of this." He said, "Listen, I also don't know any of this. The fact is, it's your job to do it. It's not my job to do it. My job is to chase you to do it. So you go." Right? So I went there to Goa, and then the dealer took me to his warehouse. He said, "It's not that I'm holding payment because I'm a cassette man, right?" So he took me to the warehouse, and all the lighting fittings were in one godown. And during the rains, all the wooden crates got wet, and the moisture seeped in, and all the lighting fittings had got rusted. The fault lay with the company, right? They should have packed properly, right? If they had done that, even though if they'd done that, we could have then found the fault with the guy in terms of storage. So finally, the dealer said, "You tell me what is fair. I will accept your decision if you're a fair person. If you were in my position, will you pay for these fittings?" Right? I said, "Okay, now I don't know the answer to that. I'm not the manager, I can't say it. And just first thing, let us find out whether indeed every single lighting fitting here is not working." Right? So if we arrive at saying things that are not repairable, things that can be working, then we will minimize the problem. So he thought that was fair. And then when we went through the whole thing, we found something like 15% of the fittings were not redeemable. Balance were workable. So I said, no, pay 85%. Yeah. So case was clear. He said, balance I will not pay. I said, then we'll figure out a way of repairing the balance. Okay. How much will it cost to repair it? So the repairing was replacing chokes. All the fittings were corroded, so we had to repaint it. Tubes have to be fixed. So we did an estimate and I sent a telegram to my manager saying, this is the situation. So he said, you're the man on the spot, take a call. Okay. So I took a call saying, you told the dealer, you do all of these things. Tell me how much will it cost. I will get an approval by telegram saying that we will pay it. Okay. I had no authority for any of this. I took the decision on the basis of what I thought was fair. So I sent a telegram to my manager saying, this is the homework we have done. This is how much it will cost. You please sanction an amount 20% more than what this amount is, just in case we have some additional things that we need to attend to. Okay, this is like being careful kind of stuff. We sanctioned that. But it was a big lesson where I was put on the spot. He said, you cannot come back to Pune until you resolve this. Can you imagine 100% vegetarian staying in Goa, where they ate fish for, everybody eats potato chips, that kind of stuff, right? But I had no way I could come back until the matter was resolved. The dealer would not leave me and the manager said, don't come back. Yeah. So I don't know whether it answers your question.
That's very interesting, sir. Maybe we can open up for questions from the audience.
Yeah.
If anyone has got, or I have one more question. That's a follow-up question.
Yeah, sure.
You also had, yes.
I have one question listening to, Sridharji. When he narrated the various episodes of his life, right from his university days to going on to the go down and figuring out a solution. The ability to think on the feet is a gift. So when you went into that warehouse and you saw that there is a potential to recover, some value, you came up with an option of assessing how much is damaged, how much is redeemable, blah blah blah. So this ability to think on the feet, sir, is something which not everybody has it. I think some people will have to take the long route, or somebody would never get it. They would just, probably if I was at the age that you were, when you started off, I would have just said, oh yeah, everything is damaged. The customer is right that he is not got any value out of the, of the goods. So, we should just write it off. So how do you see that as
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
The ability,
Yes, sir.
that ability is not a gift. Okay. I had a sense of pride. I had been given a responsibility and I had to fulfill that because my growth, I wanted to be a manager. A manager must be capable of solving problems, right? I had to solve a problem which is fair to everybody. I can't just take my company's side. I can't take my dealer's side. And the dealer was saying, your problem, you solve it. Manager was saying, your problem, you solve it. I mean, it's not my problem, yeah. I'm just an employee, right? But my career depended on the fact whether I can solve this problem or not. So I had to think on my feet. I had to be fair. I had to figure out a solution. And I had to suggest it and communicate it in a manner that was acceptable to both parties. Okay. Now that I came from my family background because my father was a problem solver. And he used to come and tell us stories every time in the night over dinner saying, this is what happened, this is how we solved the problem. Like I showed you the Rolleiflex camera problem solved. Fine. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. It does answer the question. And then that leads me to another question. Your father had a knack of telling stories, and that has influenced you significantly. And now, you are sharing those stories with us. But, the parents of the current times, I am a parent of two boys. And, I will have to be brutally honest that I I don't do any kind of a storytelling. I mean, whether it is a paucity of time or you call it, not taking out the time. I rarely tend to talk to my children about my day's happening, or finding meaning in everything that we see around us and trying to make sense of the things. So what would you give as a advice or a suggestion to the parents that we are listening? Because I think most of us here are parents of teenagers, or slightly more about more than teenage. So what would you give us parents as a advice?
So I'm not going to give you any advice. I'm also saying, you saw what I did, right? If you tried doing this, will it work for you? Would you give it a try?
Most certainly, I think.
So that's it. So go ahead and try. At the end of the day, you want to win the game, right, boss?
Yes.
Nobody wants to lose.
Yes.
So I have showed you one way to win. Right?
Sure, sir. Sure.
So go try it.
Can I add one more point in this? I mean,
Yeah, sure.
what I understand from entire conversation is necessity is the mother of invention. That's what they say, isn't it? So if you are in a situation where you are forced to find a solution, your mind will think. You will be able to get a solution. Actually, this is what I'm deriving out of it.
Correct. Absolutely. Don't be overwhelmed. That's the point.
Yeah.
What will get you a sense of joy and pride? That's important. Yeah.
I think Raghu ji want to ask a question.
Yeah, thank you, Meenakshi. Thank you. Good evening, all. Thank you, Sridhar sir, for a very insightful presentation. My question is very simple, actually. I have been trying to find an answer for myself, actually. It's regarding education. How important do you think education plays in shaping up the career of a person? And does it matter really, or is it the life science experience that we evolve around ourselves to make a living? Thank you.
Now, a lot of people equate education is equal to degree types, right? That's not education. When I refer to education, it's education lifelong. Even now, I'm getting educated. The formal education through colleges and all that gives you like an entry opportunity. If you see, lot of business people were not educated in the formal sense. So I'm saying formal education is like an entry pass. Your growth will come from education, from experience, and you're combining the two. So my answer to you is that both are important. If you don't have the formal education, it's going to make life a little more difficult for you unless you're getting into business and trade.
Thank you. Right. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Even though you need education to manage your money.
Okay. And may I just ask one more question, if time permits?
A minute? Yeah, I have enough time. I have nothing else to do.
Okay. What prompted you to join O&M and be there for almost half your life you have spent as part of that great institution?
See, I was working in another small agency called Frank Simoes Advertising, which was run by a very creative person, but it a small agency. I mean, beyond the point, there was no growth. So it so happened that at that time, Ogilvy was getting a new managing director who's taking over from the earlier one. And then if you know anything about the advertising agency business, that all these media representatives, they go from agency to agency trying to sell advertising space. So the man from Reader's Digest came and said, listen, there is a man called Mani Iyer who's taking over in Ogilvy, and he's looking for fresh people, right? I can tell you, Frank Simoes, beyond the point, it's not likely to be a long-term organization for you. As he said, right, Frank Simoes is not even there anymore, right? So applied to Ogilvy, and that is an opportunity. So it was more looking at growth, and I was young. When you're young, you're looking for growth opportunities and, wanting to be part of a big organization, well-known organization, all of that kind of thing. So small ambitions we had at that time. Does that answer your question?
So I want to ask one question, taking from your answer to the previous question. Is it experience actually shapes us? Education plus experience together is what makes a person. So if you have to give one example of an experience that really shaped your thinking process or the person who you are, one experience from your life, what would that be?
Okay. When I was in Ogilvy in Chennai, the government had introduced something called as an advertising tax. Right? Broadly, the guideline was if you advertise up to a certain level of expense, there was no tax on advertising. Any advertising you spent more on, you'll have to pay tax on it. It was added to your income tax or something like that. So I had a client, and then beyond a certain point, I had to stop their campaign so that they didn't have to pay tax. Okay, I made a mistake. And client was furious. So the matter went to my managing director, and the client said this man must be sacked. Okay. My managing director came from Bombay. The both of us went to the client, and the client reiterated this demand. So my managing director listened to him, and he said, listen, he is admitting the mistake. He made a mistake, right? I will pay from Ogilvy as your agency. We will pay for the mistake. Now, whether to sack him or not is my prerogative, not your prerogative. You have no right to ask for anybody to be sacked from my company unless it is my decision. So please understand there is a thin line as to what you can ask for and what you can demand. He saved my job. And of course, when I came back to the agency, I got my pants taken off. And that's a different issue. But look at the fairness of the man. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. That's a very good experience. That's something which is very insightful, actually. Any other question from anyone, or I have few more questions?
Yeah. I have all the time in the world. I love the sound of my voice.
Because I saw someone opening the mic in between. I think it was Gayatri. So I thought maybe, is there a question, Gayatri?
Uh, as of now, no. I probably wanted to know which, like, if Ogilvy and what was his best, campaign or something, if he's done there, and some very interesting thing, which was like, which story he told better from, the Ogilvy when he was there with Ogilvy, the story which he is very, happy about or something.
See, at 25 long years in Ogilvy, I worked in their Chennai office. I started their Bangalore office. Then I came back to Bombay. I started their consulting practice and so on and so forth. There are many things. There are so many things that I learned in that organization in terms of managing people, solving clients' problems. I'll give you very simple things. One of the things which I learned from my managing director is saying that ideas can come from anywhere. Okay. For instance, we were pitching for a new business which was selling pet foods. A small guy selling pet foods. Now I was desperate for business because we wanted more revenue because I had to build the office. Without revenue, you can't hire new people, right? We also had to protect the bottom line. So in pet foods, when we went and pitched for the client said, "Let us no budget. You show me some technique by which I can build my business. With every sale beyond a certain point, I'll plow back the money into advertising." Okay. Now, fair logic. So I came back to the office and I was speaking to our people, and we had a girl called Tina Reddy. She was a pet owner. She said that, every pet owner, if you notice, they have a huge poster of a pet in their wall. I don't know whether it's true or not, but I see that's true. Okay. So we advertise in the newspaper the classified column, which is very low cost, saying, if you have a pet in your home, just reply to this box number with your address. Our salesman will come and give you a large poster of a beautiful pet. Okay, poster were printed at very low cost. Fine. Now they immediately wrote saying, "Yeah, we want it, and all that." Anybody wants free stuff, right? So the salesman will go to their place, hand over the pet, hand over the poster, take notes about what is the name of the pet, how old is the pet, and what are they feeding and all that, and gave them free trial coupons for trying their product. One sample pack and price of coupons for subsequent purchases. We therefore got a database of households with pets in Bangalore city. Right? A fantastic way to do it. And then the salesman built a relationship with the pet owner. Right? From the pet owner, they got the name of the pet doctor. So went to the pet doctor and started selling to the pet doctor. Right? The pet doctor would recommend their product. See the way it worked out. Right? So does this answer your question, madam?
Yeah, being a pet owner, I think this kind of resonated with me, and thank you for sharing this. Although I don't have a poster of my pet at my home, but I would surely love to have some time in the future.
Well, if it was 30 years ago, I would have given you one.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks. I can link back to something that you said in the beginning. Small opportunities. When you're open for small opportunities, that takes you to more small opportunities, and then that leads you to big opportunity. So I think that this story, I think, exactly fits in to that particular line that you mentioned earlier, isn't it?
Yeah. So the salesman will call it the foot in the door philosophy. So when somebody is trying to close the door, you put the foot there, they can't close the door, right?
Yeah.
But that's a very aggressive posture. But the foot in the door thing is to give them something that they will want to open the door for. Okay.
Anyone has any questions to ask?
I'll just give you an example. If a postman arrives in the door saying, there is a money order for you, the door will open, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's like that. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Any other question?
Yeah, I have one more question.
Yeah.
This advertising is basically about creativity, isn't it? So how do you actually keep yourself creative? Is there any exercise that you do, or any practice that you do?
See, first thing I dispute this point about advertising is about creativity. Life is about creativity. Right? The reason why advertising has to be creative is if it is not creative, it will not catch your attention. If it doesn't catch your attention, you will not read what is written. If you don't read what is written, you will not get the message. If you don't get the message, you will not buy what the product is. So the whole thing is about differentiation. You're wearing a pair of spectacles, right? I'm wearing a pair of spectacles. Are they looking the same?
No.
Okay. You made a choice. You wanted to have that kind of specs, right?
Correct.
So I used to wear a pair of spectacles like that earlier till marriage. Then my wife told me, you look too serious with this. Then I went for this. Right? So the reason for making or taking any action, the reason for persuasion, right, is depending on how people respond to stimuli. For instance, I think Shaukat also is probably wearing something like what I'm wearing.
Yeah, kind of.
Right? So the whole point is all of us make choices, and we make choices based on knowledge that is available to us. Right? Advertising is a paid way of making that knowledge available to us, because that is how the newspapers make money. That's how the television people make money, because they know that we make money by selling those goods.
So they take a share of it.
Yeah. Okay.
Sundar, if I may be permitted to ask a question.
Yes, go ahead, Karthik. Yeah.
Yeah. Good evening, sir. Unfortunately, I joined this session only when the question answer session began. So I completely missed your presentation and the stories that you had to say. But then, nevertheless, just gathering from the how the conversation has been and having observed the questions so far, just wanted to ask, because you are from an advertising line. I just recently moved to a new job after a bit of a struggle, I would say. Uh, when we are talking about advertising as individuals and professionals, we advertise through our own resumes or CVs, whatever you might call it. From an advertising perspective, what do you feel the strength of a CV or a resume should be? Because that is how an individual advertises himself for a job, right? So when I was applying for jobs and I was looking out, there were several thoughts and opinions, as in, like, okay, for a professional who's like 20 plus years of experienced, the CV should be just 2 pages short, or it should be pretty detailed. There were various thoughts and opinions. As an advertising person, what do you feel is appropriate, or what is your thoughts on that?
Okay. As an advertising person, my first point is you have to stand away from the crowd, which means don't do anything that everybody else does. Okay, are you with me?
Okay. Yeah. I'm listening,
Okay.
sir. Yeah.
So what are the ways in which you can do? So I'll tell you, for instance, I have been through the situations that I know. For instance, when I applied for a job with Ogilvy was a famous agency, and there are a lot of people applying for jobs. So when I applied, I didn't do any of the things that normally what everybody says. I created a complete dossier on myself. I sat down and thought, what are the various questions they would want to ask me if I were to appear for an interview? So every question was answered in that resume that I'd done. The font that I used for typing my resume was different from the normal font everybody would use. Right? The paper on which it was printed was expensive bond paper. Right?
Okay.
The photograph that I showed was not like one of those passport photographs where this guy is looking like he's staring at a lizard and getting shit scared with it. Nobody's not even smiling in that kind of picture. So I had a very carefully done it. Whole thing was packed. It was then put together in a sealed envelope, which is a very expensive kind of envelope. And then I went personally. I had done some homework. I knew that the managing director was taking home papers to read every day. Right? So I went to their office in the evening and told the reception, "Dang, I have a very important envelope for Mr. Iyer, the managing director. I am told it should be handed only to his secretary, please. Can I please hand it over to her? If you don't allow me to go there, call her, I'll hand it over." Right? So she said, "No, everybody is gone. You can go and give it to her. So and so, so and so. She's there at the desk." So I went to her and said, "This is for Mr. Iyer." So she said, "Oh," and she looked at the envelope. It looked very important. And she said, "Who should I say it is from?" So I said, "Tell him that it is from Sridhar." The way I said it, she thought Mr. Iyer knows me. Okay. So I handed it over and came away. And I knew that every day he goes home and he reads the papers. Within 2 days, I got a call saying, "Come and meet Mr. Iyer at 8:45 in the morning." Right. So I went in the morning, 8:45. I went to his office. I stepped in. He said, "Listen, just sit here for 2 minutes. I'll be here. Gone to see somebody." And on the table was my folder, and on the right hand top corner there was a small little tick. I knew that my job was done. Now the whole thing is differentiation. You please understand the receiver and their pressures and the way in which they make decisions in terms of selections, etc. At the time that I was applying, there were millions of job applications were landing in Ogilvy. What chance did I stand upon? So I had to put in the effort. I had to understand the man and his habit. I knew that he was reading papers in the car, sitting in the back. So here is a nice folder, loose papers. If he opens, it can fall. It's outside. It's in a nice, expensive folder. It's easy for him to read, make whatever it is. I thought through all of that. You do this homework, I promise you will get results. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your insights. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. I can use this insight also for Toastmasters, very public speaking, basically, where you have to put in effort to understand what audience wants, how you want to give it to the audience. Put the effort to differentiate yourself so that audience gets it
Absolutely.
easy. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Raghuji, you have one more question?
Yeah, thank you, Meenakshi sir. Sridhar sir,
Yeah.
I was reading about you on the media, in which you write being a mentor, a coach, and a professional writer. Among many other things, you are passionate about people, places, etc. But something which caught me and it was quite interesting was you're passionate about hot water and you're also passionate about ice creams. I thought there is a paradox and thought that I should take your views on that. What exactly you wanted to mention here?
What is it passionate about? What is it?
You are passionate about hot water,
Hot water.
and you're passionate about ice creams.
Correct.
So
I'm
I thought there is a paradox, unless the hot water refers to the shower that you have.
No, the thing is, I love ice creams, okay? That causes a problem in my throat. Okay, I have what is called as an acid reflux. If you get older, you'll get all this kind of stuff. So I keep sipping hot water. So that's become a habit. So I don't drink hot water while having ice cream, if that is your question.
Actually, I also have the same issue. That is why I keep sipping hot waters.
Yeah, so sip hot water, and when you have ice cream, keep hot water away. How many ice creams do you have at a time?
I don't have. Fortunately or unfortunately, I do not eat ice cream, so I'm not aware of much about it.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you so much. It was just on the
Thank you very
the
much.
side.
Yeah. Any others?
So one question that I got from the young generation, I asked my niece and people just to one question if they want to ask what would it be.
Yeah, sure.
I think two of them, my friend's daughter who's just starting her career, and my niece also is just started her career. Actually, both of them want to know that you moved from uh, advertising field where you are actually in a very very good position, and then you started your own setup. So what was the thinking at that time in your mind, and what are the challenges that you had to face and how to overcome? So they want to understand the mindset that you had at that time when you shifted actually.
Yeah. See, I took a decision at 50 that I want to move out. I was already a director on the board and very senior in Ogilvy, very well respected, very well regarded in the industry, and so on and so forth. But there was a very strict rule that at the age of 58, you have to retire. Right? So my logic was that if at the age of 58, if I retire and start all over again, I may not have either the energy or the willpower to do anything different. So I wanted to do it at the time when I had the energy and the willpower to do it. So I said I'll step out at 50. There was a risk. So I spoke to my wife, okay, which is the most sensible thing I did. So she said, listen, we are good enough. There is no curd rice is guaranteed. I mean, classic timbre. So curd rice is guaranteed. For 1 year, if you don't earn a piece of income, we'll still be all right. And I told her, if 1 year my business doesn't take off, I'll apply for a job and go for another job. And no false prestige kind of stuff. And I knew I'll get a job because I'll start 50 and then I had a reputation. I had a reputation amongst clients. I had a reputation amongst other agencies. Anybody would give me a job. I was very clear about that. So we said we'll set up, and we set up a business called Ideas RS, IDEAS-RS, which is all about innovation and creativity and all that. And I even wrote a book called Unlock the Real Power of Ideation. It's now available on Kindle. So the hypothesis was most people run brainstorming sessions, but they don't know how to do the brainstorming sessions right, and they get very poor results. So it explains step by step how to do a proper brainstorming session. The starting point is define the problem right. Then get the right kind of people in the room who will be able to give you solutions for the problem. Then when you're getting enough, lot of solutions, spend more time getting a lot of new ideas. And then evaluate your ideas and arrive at a few solutions. It is like how the men go and buy a shirt and how women go and buy saris. When I go and buy a shirt, I go to a shop, I pick up one shirt straight away, buy, pay and walk away. If I go to a shop with my wife and she's buying a sari, she's planning to buy one sari, she'll look at 14 saris and then take a decision, right? So when you're solving a problem, look at alternative ways of doing this and then choose the most
Sorry, sir,
cost-effective,
I couldn't
efficient
help
way
it.
of
You
doing
are
it.
lucky. You are lucky that your wife sees only 14. That's a heavy understatement in
No,
today's
she
life.
didn't buy 14 saris. She bought one. Only she saw 14 saris.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That the fact that she sees only 14, you are lucky enough, I would say.
No, why? I am lucky because I paid only for one. No, then I had to wait in the shop. Then I'll have a conversation with the shopkeeper, the owner. While she's buying saris, I'm learning about trade. I'm learning about business. And I
I
will say
think
how to
Karthik's
manage
point
the
is that normally women will see more than 14, probably 30 or 35. So
I'm just saying, listen, accept the fact that they're like that.
Multiplied
But
by
figure
n
out,
number of
I'm just
shops.
saying, let me finish what I'm saying. You please figure out what you will do during that time. You accept them for what they are, they will accept you for what you are. It's a reciprocal thing, right? Today, of course, you have a mobile and she's doing something, you can see something, you can make a call, you can do what is it. So, I mean, most important thing, be respectful and mindful of each other's preferences and choices. We are different people. I mean, she's suffering me for all these years in spite of my quirks and stupidities, right? So we have to reciprocate, aren't we? Not be judgmental.
yeah. So the
Point
point you're
taken,
saying is,
Understood.
yeah, the point you are saying is that when you are solving a problem, look at multiple options. So
Correct. Correct.
that was the point that we were
Yes.
mentioning here.
And don't be in a hurry to decide.
Yeah. Okay. So if you had to give an idea for someone who want to change the career, as long as you have a clear idea of what you want to do, you can go ahead.
You're asking me or so asking somebody else to go ahead.
I'm asking you, like, if the advice for any youngsters or anyone who want to change career, they want to shift to career, as long as you have a very clear idea about what you're going to do,
See,
you can.
it's like this. There are two things you should be very clear about. There are a lot of people who want to change careers because they are having trouble in the current stuff, right? And they very easily assume that it's the boss who is at fault, the company who is at fault, and all that kind of stuff. Right? They have to be very honest to themselves as to why they want to change the job. Is it really because the opportunity is running dry here, or is it because they are not happy and they don't know why they are not happy? So they have to have a very clear assessment as to what is wrong. It's like a diagnostics with a doctor. Once you know that, look, I have come to a dead end in this place and there is no opportunity for me to grow, and it is an objective kind of assessment and decision, then you look at it. So a lot of young people are very hasty in making this assessment and decision. I've had conversations with a lot of people, right? They have a lot of expectations. When they join, they think they must be promoted in the first year. It may not be possible. Maybe they have not performed adequately well, and they don't know what is a performance measurement. So first understand all that. See, if you travel to a new country, there are requirements on visa and health and all that, right? You follow all the rules and regulations. Only then you're allowed to move forward. Same thing, understand what are the rules and regulations of the company in terms of progress. How do you get yourself equipped to be considered for the next job? So, for instance, if I'm in, let's say, sales assistant, and the next job is sales executive, if I was in that position, I'll actually ask for the performance thing criteria for the sales executive. What are the ways in which that person is saying and how is his performance evaluated? During my sales assistant job, I should start doing things that the sales executive normally does. So I'll go to the sales executive and say, what are the ways in which I can assist you in what you're doing? Can you give me jobs which are things that you don't have the time to do? So I will do it. If you can just teach me how to do it, I'll do it. Right? He feels very happy that I'm assisting him. 1 year of assisting him is like me having been trained to become a sales executive. Right? At the right time, who do you think he'll recommend for the next promotion? So it's not enough if you dream. Go volunteer, soil your hands, roll up your sleeves, and do something.
This is a fantastic advice, sir. I mean, especially for youngsters, this is actually a gold, definitely. I think we will. If any questions from the audience, anyone want to ask any questions? We have Jatin there. Again, he started his, he changed his career and he's having his own business now.
Okay. How's this business doing?
Thank you so much, sir. I really enjoyed. I learned a lot from Sridhar, sir. As of now, I don't have any question. I love all the stories were nice. I love the most his father's story when he asked what things I am doing correct. This one is like a takeaway from today's session. I will always remember all the stories, and this was the like one of the most loved story I like today, because many times in a career also I face the same thing when managers or bosses were saying, okay, these things are not right, these things, but there is always something which is we are doing correct, and we need to sometimes take stand and ask also. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your stories.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone has any other story or any comments to share? Maya?
Greetings, everybody. I don't have any questions to ask, but it was really interesting to hear sir's stories, insights, and perspectives. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Ji, if you are not slept. Manjula, ma'am. We have Stanumurthy is there. Stanumurthy is the chairperson of Marine chapter of ICAI, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India.
Okay.
He's a very knowledgeable person. He's also from Mumbai.
Okay.
Stanumurthy, if you are in the meeting.
Yes, I am very much in the meeting. So thank you, Meenakshi, for having invited me to this session. And thank you, Sridharji, for having shared your stories to share, and the pictures where it evoked a lot of thought on what we could ascribe as a caption or talk about them while you were running through with the presentation. Um, it was very interesting, a different take on what we all have to say. Everybody has some stories, but do we have the ability to form them in a way where the audience is interested in listening them? That's one thing I could take. The other thing which you talked about just immediately after the presentation about your experience, your first job where you had to go and be a debt collector, an interesting thing. And also on the aspect which I believe somebody asked about your learning. So I'm sure my 2 cents on this would be that everyone learns from their failures. It is only when we are put pressed against the wall where there's nobody to sort of come and help, or even if they do, they wouldn't be in a position to help as much as we would like of them. And it's only when we are have take a decision, and that decision making process with the wall against our back is when we all learn. So thank you for sharing this detailed presentation and your thoughts on this one. Meenakshi, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to participate. and learn something out of it as well. So a great presentation. Thank you, both of you.
Thank you,
Before
Mr.
we
Ramanathan.
close, I want to make one offer to all of you. I've been having mentoring calls with a lot of people, one-on-one. Okay. Typically, they they find themselves confused and in a spot, etc. And we have a 1 hour conversation, and then we navigate through the conversation, and they go back with clarity, right? And this is a big learning experience for me. I'm enjoying the process, and I'm also feeling that I'm remaining productive by being helpful to people. So, if you know anybody who would like to have this conversation with me one-on-one, I'm most happy to have this conversation. These are pro bono conversations. In some cases, when people say that, look, it's not fair that I must pay for it, then I suggest that they may make a payment to a charity that I support in Bombay. There is an organization called Dignity Foundation, which is meant for senior citizens, right? And I give them the details by which they can make the payment, either on a dollar account or a rupee account or whatever it is. They've given me details. And then, last week somebody did that, and I gave the stuff, and he has made the remittance, etc. So that's possible. So I'm quite happy to spend time with anybody who wants to have a chat. People in the family says that I love the sound of my voice, and that's why I'm talking so much. No, that's not the point. I also want to be helpful, right? And it makes me feel that I wake up at about 4 o'clock in the morning. Then by the time I finish my morning routines and breakfast, etc., I'm ready by 8:30 in the morning, right? Then I go to sleep at about 11 o'clock. In between, you have some time for lunch, some time for this, that, etc. I have so much time in it, right? Then I'm writing a book, which is a fiction that's about an hour a day max. How many movies can I see in a day? Netflix, I'm running out of the movies now. Now I've started seeing all sorts of languages. I've gone beyond English and Hindi and Tamil. Now I'm seeing a lot of Malayalam movies. I see Bengali movies. I see Marathi movies. But suddenly I'm finding a rich repertoire of stuff that people have. Some amazing stuff that I'm seeing. The kind of creativity people show, the kind of stories, the kind of production, the kind of acting, the kind of dialogues. Fantastic. It's like a veritable feast. So I have a lot of time in my hand. So I'm just using you as my friends and making this request. If you know somebody who wants to have a chat, I had, during the pandemic, I had a conversation called Confusion to Clarity. Right? The Confusion to Clarity calls were saying, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do next. And 1 hour, they will end the conversation with clarity on what is their next. I'm willing to do this kind of stuff. For anybody you think will benefit from this, for some strange reason, young people feel quite comfortable with me in spite of my age. So that is also fine. We can leverage to our advantage.
Sure, sir. I will definitely share the video and with your thoughts, and we'll spread the message. We also have in the call Shubhashri, who is also chartered accountant and who is also I'm her husband actually. She's my wife, and she's been guiding my for guiding me in terms of my career choices.
Okay.
So if she has anything to add.
Shubhashri is a famous author in Tamil, right?
Yes, only the name. By name, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sridhar, for your lovely stories and also good takeaways. There were a lot of times when I was able to relate back to some of the stories, and it reminded me of my days in my office when one of my bosses said, "You're getting paid to provide solutions and not to get problems to me." But that was very thought provoking to me personally, because I always went back to all my future bosses after that with solutions or options to any problems that we were facing at that point of time. But I think that was quite insightful. But it reminded me some of the things what you did mention was I was able to resonate with it. And your stories were amazing. Thank you so much for your speech and talk. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm grateful for this opportunity.
I think Zoom user, I don't know the name.
This is I'm sorry.
Hello.
Hi,
Yeah.
this is Maragadavalli. I just
Ah,
didn't use the name.
Maggie.
Yeah.
Okay. Maragavilli also chartered accountant. She has got practice in India and also in Bahrain.
Wow.
Yes, Maggie.
Thank you, Emma. Thank you so much for this wonderful session. And thank you, Sridhar sir. This is Maragadavalli. I joined late, like Karthik, just before question and answer session. So I missed a great deal on your stories. But with the question and answer sessions itself, I got a lot of intakes, actually, insights. Thank you so much for that. I don't have a question as such. I just have some points, like when you said how you have to go about preparing the CV, go that extra mile, put in your efforts to show who you are. That was really, really wonderful. And as Subhashri said, most of the question answers resonated with me when I was starting my career, when I had the experiences, like how you have to think for all, like all the parties, all the stakeholders to have a win-win situation. I have, when I was working with Sterlite Industries, there was a commercial officer named Tapas Chakrabarti. So I learned a lot from, though we are not direct, I was in finance and he was in commercial, but I learned a lot from him, like how he do the negotiations for the subcontractors. The point was not to reduce the cost only for Sterlite, but also to enable the subcontractor to give us an affordable rate, as it also profitable for him. So he will give over the contacts for other suppliers that we have, where he can negotiate or get at a lesser price, like that. That he used to come up with these, like the story that you told, how you resolve that conflict, so that the dealer also can come out of his situation, and it is profitable, or it is not a big loss for your company also. That really rekindled that memory for me. And the parenting tip, there are more ways to engage, not just one way to win.
Absolutely.
Whatever is working for you, you just go about it. Yeah.
Correct.
Thank you so much for all of your insights, sir. I happy to be here.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for a wonderful summary also. And Manjula, still there in the call? She's also one of my mentors.
Yeah.
She's a Toastmaster and a wonderful leader, actually. In fact, she's also a mentor for Jatinder.
Okay.
She's an amazing person.
Hi, Meenakshi. Good evening, Mr. Sridhar. Finally, I get to see you online.
Thank you.
It was always my dream to meet you in person, because I come from an advertising background, and a dream that was there within me was to meet you and to work with you, but that never happened.
Which agency did you work in?
I worked in Bahrain. I worked for Adline Media and Marketing.
Okay.
So we were the representatives for Alayam Bahrain Tribune, and we took care of the cinemas and the outdoors and part of the Radio Bahrain.
Okay.
So when I moved to, now I don't work, of course. I'm at home taking care of a lot of other stuff and volunteering online. It was always my dream and my passion to meet you in person in India and to maybe work with you, but that never happened.
Thank you so much.
Really honored to be seeing you online today, and thank you, Meenakshi, for putting this together.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You were all wonderful audience, great questions. It's a big shot in the arm for me. Feel so energized. I can handle another 10 sessions today itself.
I'm feeling really happy that I could at least what do you say in Ramayana, the Anil played a small role in building the river, what is that, bridge between. So I could actually connect you with Manjula. That's something which I'm surprised and I'm really happy for that. It was a great session, sir. I really enjoyed. It was, in fact, one of the mail from you on the message that you put in LinkedIn where you said for one-to-one conversation. That's the trigger actually for the entire say this call. That's from where this call actually started. Then I thought I was doing this during COVID. We're inviting people and trying to talk to them, and so I thought I want to restart it for quite some time, but somehow it was not happening. And I thought this can be an opportunity for me to restart that process, and I'll start with you. And you are so gracious enough to accept and come and speak and share your wisdom. It was brilliant, and I really enjoyed. Thank you for your time, sir.
See, I have said 100. I wanted to meet 100 people from my LinkedIn thing, and I've not even done 20 yet. So, long way to go.
I think definitely people who are going to come and meet you, they are going to really gain a lot out of your experience and wisdom.
So pass
And
the word along if you want to share it with people, saying, listen, if you want to talk to Sridhar, he is available, because some people may not have uh, understood the seriousness with which I actually made that proposition. They must have said,
yes,
another gimmick or something like that. So if you wish to pass on the word to some of your friends and you say, listen, you can have a chat with him or whatever it is, feel free to do that. Do an email introduction. And I'm willing to, 100 is just a number. If it becomes 200 also, it doesn't matter. It makes no difference to me. Okay.
sure, sir. I will definitely
Anybody you believe will benefit by having a conversation with me, feel free to.
definitely, sir. I'll definitely share with my friends and
Absolutely.
especially the next generation, young generation, where they are more confused. They want some clarity. I would try to push them to join a call with you. And
Yeah,
thanks
don't
for
push
your
them.
time.
Try to suggest to them. Don't push them. Don't
Yeah,
push anybody.
suggest no
You
push.
know,
I think
in physics, how many of you have studied physics?
I'm not sure. There is probably few.
Okay.
The law.
Pushing is more difficult than pulling. When you push, you're putting a force against the surface, right? When you're pulling, you're attracting.
Yeah,
So don't push, just suggest.
that's another wonderful lesson. Don't push, pull.
Suggest.
Yeah,
Don't
suggest.
pull
Yeah,
also.
yeah. I'll suggest. Yeah,
And then if you suggest, you just read about his profile. That if the profile pulls them, they will come.
sure. Yeah,
Otherwise, they won't come, and that's fine.
I'll do that,
Don't
sir.
push anybody. Yeah, don't push anyone.
Sure, sir. Thanks, sir. Thanks for your time and
Thank you.
with all your. Raghuji, you want to say something?
No, I just wanted to thank you very much, Sridhar ji, for an excellent session. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We can, if everyone is happy, we can probably close the meeting, and because you will have probably other things to do also. You have to
Okay.
write.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. See you then. Bye.
Thanks, sir.
Bye.
Thank you, Sundar. Thank you, Sridharji. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Good
everyone.
night. All the very
Thank you.
best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank you very
you.
much.